saw a clip from The View this week. Sunny Hostin said that when she walks into a neighborhood and sees a lot of American flags, she feels unsafe. She said a section of this country has co-opted that flag, turned it into a symbol of white supremacy. Now, before you form an opinion, here's the context she was responding to. There was a photo going around from July 4th, a black woman sitting on the DC Metro, surrounded by masked men from a group called Patriot Front, a white nationalist group that wants a white ethno-state in this country. That's the image she was reacting to. And I want to be fair to her, she wasn't saying every flag is racist. She was saying that image, that specific thing, is what comes to mind for her now. And the backlash was immediate. People said she was insane, that she should leave the country if the flag makes her scared. Meanwhile, other people said, finally, someone's saying the quiet part out loud. Same flag, same 30 seconds of video, two completely different reactions. Both of them absolutely certain they're seeing it correctly. And that got me thinking about something bigger than the flag. Here's the honest answer to who's right about what the flag means. Kind of both of them, and neither of them at the same time. Because the flag doesn't come with an instruction manual. Its meaning isn't fixed by the fabric. It's built by history, by who's carried it and why, by what each of us has personally lived through under it. A veteran sees one thing. Someone who's watched that flag get carried by people who hate them sees another. Neither one is crazy. They're both reading the same symbol through the lens their life gave them. And that's actually how most of us read everything. Not just flags. We walk through life wearing a lens we didn't fully choose, built out of what happened to us. What we were taught to fear, what we were taught to be proud of, and we assume that lens is just reality. Fear feels like discernment when you're the one feeling it. Anger feels like justice when you're the one who's angry. Here's the problem. That same thing happens with Scripture and with Jesus. People show up to the Bible wearing whatever lens they already had, and they find a version of Jesus that fits it. A Jesus who only affirms, a Jesus who only judges, a therapist Jesus, a political mascot Jesus, whatever the moment needs him to be. And it feels like reading, but it's actually just looking in a mirror with a beard on it. Here's where it breaks down though. A flag can be read a dozen honest ways because a flag never said anything back. It's cloth. It can't correct you. Jesus isn't cloth. He talked. He made claims about himself that don't bend no matter which lens you bring. He said before Abraham was, I am. He said, I and the Father are one. He forgave sins like he was the one who'd been sinned against. You can reject that, plenty of people do, but you can't relabel it and still call it meeting him. At that point, you're not looking at Jesus anymore. You're back to looking at your own reflection. You just gave it his name. And here's why that actually matters for the fear part, not just the argument part. 1 John chapter 4 says perfect love casts out fear, not perfect information, not winning the argument online, perfect love. Because fear and anger, the kind of thing the flag argument produced on every side, that's usually what you get when your sense of safety is riding on a symbol, a headline, or a crowd. When your identity is anchored somewhere that can be threatened, threats are going to make you afraid or angry every time, because there's actually something at stake for you. But when your security isn't riding on the flag, or the news cycle, or whether people agree with you this week, when it's riding on a person who already told you exactly who he is, and then walked out of a grave to prove it, the ground underneath you stops shaking every time someone posts a clip. That doesn't mean the flag conversation doesn't matter. It does. But it means you don't have to source your peace from it. So let's make a big deal about Jesus, because Jesus is a big deal.